Good evening.
And good night.
Well, I was gonna try to do my Vincent Price impression, but I figured that would be too creepy on a night that's already gonna be strange where things go bump in the night. So figured no, save that for another evening.
Yeah, you can do it next Monday.
No, it'll be past the All Hallows Eve next Monday.
So you boys are scared.
Yeah,
What time it is?
yeah, and Vincent Price. Yeah, that's not even a good one.
No,
Used to have a good Vincent Price, years ago, but age happened, and then I met Harrison, and it's all been downhill since then.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah. But before we get started, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, its executive director, or any division, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries. Strictly those of us who are expressing them. Boo, everybody.
Boo.
That was a spooky comment.
From a spooky T-Rex.
Oh, it's going to be one of those episodes. We are back. At least I am back. I don't know where Moose has been. For those that are not on our Patreon and have not been following along with my sarcastic writings, or at least I say sarcastic writings. I'm a very sarcastic person. If you get to know me in real life, Adam can attest.
Like the definition.
Adam can really, and Harrison both can really attest to it. And I try to let that part of my personality, hit my writing a little bit. But I've been filling everybody in. So October is my busiest month. October and February, honestly, are my two busiest months, but October more so. Where I currently work at, we have a very large event that happens at the beginning of October every year. Has been going on for the past 168 years. No, 164 years. Yeah, 160. No, 168. Yeah, 168. Well, anyway, very long time before the war. Yeah, before the war between the states. We have had these events down where I work. It's an annual event, and I work in the security end of that event. I plan the security for that event, and it is all hands on deck. And when it kicked off to where it ended, I was working on average 14 hours a day. Weekends were a lot longer than that. But yeah, so the 2 Mondays when that event went on, I was absolutely slammed packed by Moose. So I couldn't be on the show. And the following Monday, we just finished our 38th annual fall muster down at Beauvoir, the last home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis, which was a huge success, which we'll talk about at some point in the future, but maybe not tonight. Had a really good turnout with it. So last Monday I was absolutely exhausted, and was getting over non-viral walking pneumonia. So yeah, that was a lot of fun for all those in the reenacting community. I don't want to hear anything, you go do an event with walking pneumonia. Like I was telling folks, pneumonia is what killed Stonewall Jackson. And while I'm willing to do a lot for the cause, quite dying for a reenactment's not fully there. So I am over it for the most part, but I'm glad to be back, especially as we're hitting this last little bit of a stretch. So yeah, actually, Eric, they didn't give me a bullet. They gave me 3 magazines worth.
So Adam's here tonight to talk about his dead hair collection.
No,
yeah,
we can't.
no. Yeah, no, we're not talking about the dead hair collection.
Kayla, grab that collection. We'll do show and tell tonight.
Kayla, keep your creepy, weird dead hair in. I would say in the house where it belongs, but it doesn't even belong there.
I have to bring this up every Halloween episode ever since Adam just last year was like, look.
No, it was 2 years ago. It was like, hey, yeah, we collect dead people hair.
It was just such a nonchalant comment. Salant?
Yeah, nonchalant. Just like normal conversation.
Yeah, just threw it out there.
Yep. Really quickly, just to remind everybody, we're not going to get into the whole political, thing. We will do our civic duty and remind everybody to go vote. There is a quote. I'm going to try to bring it up really quickly that I think sums up very well what we will say. If I can find it really quickly, if I can get through all the YouTube stuff we were watching before. I put it in one of our Patreon blog posts. That'll be the easiest way for me to find it. Scrolling.
How long ago did you post it?
A little while ago. Here it is. I found it. What we will say for tonight, and I'm paraphrasing the first part of it. We'll not say anything about politics. We don't propose to say anything about politics. But this is the quote. You have the right to elect whom you please. Vote for the man you think best. And I think that when that is done, you and I are free men. Do as you consider right and honest in electing men for office. Now that a quote that of course came from a quote from July 5th, 1875. And if you can tell us who said it and which speech that is, you'll win the prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you'll win it.
I'll say, what's the prize?
Kudos. You'll get kudos.
You get an empty dip can.
Yeah, no, this one's yeah. You get this one. You get this one that's empty, not this one that's full.
I was in an empty one, so
yeah.
Signed by GCB.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's worth a whole penny.
Yeah. Anyway, that was the from the Pole Bear speech that Bedford Forrest gave. Go look it up and read it. But it's something history often tries to leave out. Pole Bear Association speech there in Memphis. So, and yes, Eric Pravetti, of course, I've got my Lucky Tennessee pennant hanging on the wall.
Ooh,
it's football season.
We're gonna need to get past the Wildcats.
Yeah.
At least y'all have hope.
Well, and kind of my thing. I was talking to somebody at lunch about it today. It's weird that Tennessee goes and we lose to Arkansas. Then we go and then we beat Alabama, and then Alabama goes and beats Arkansas handedly. So it's just been a very, very weird, year for SEC football.
It has been.
And I will say at the beginning of the season, Tennessee was doing great, and then Adam started watching football. So
it's Adam.
It's just saying, Kayla, you and Adam need to do some more tours.
That could be it, actually, yeah.
The renovations are not going to pay for themselves, especially because y'all have to redo the marble tile upstairs.
She destroyed a room. Which one was it, Adam?
Oh, that was our living room.
Did a number on that one.
Now, yeah. So we have floors. We're one step closer. So hopefully the next time I get on here, I'll be back in my living room watching television again.
I am really, really glad that I hopefully one day I'll get to see the renovations. But Adam doesn't know this because last time he asked me, I was 50-50. Now I'm 75-25 that at the end of November, I will be coming up to that glorious area of Tennessee.
So that's a good time of year to come up. Especially this
I don't want to.
160th of Battle of
Yeah.
Franklin.
Hint. I don't want to pay for a hotel room.
That's his nice way of saying I want to bunk with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
You don't even have to give
have a new. I went and bought a new couch yesterday, so you can test it out.
Oh, look at Adam being all nice.
I'll bring the air mattress.
There's always the barn with Twitty.
Now, how's his tail doing?
That's still broke.
For those that don't know, Kayla broke Adam's dog's tail.
It said it was very rare in a dog, and it would happen to my dog. But yeah, my coon dog, my blue tick hound, has a broken tail.
This is hard. Kayla, what are you doing to these poor creatures?
She must have gone in out of earshot because she's not.
Yeah, she's
not
inside.
screaming.
She's looking at me out the window right now.
She knows. She knows.
I wanted to stay on here as long as possible.
I may not be staying up at your place after all.
See, that's I would love to stay with Adam, but I'm too
Wake
scared
up
to stay
dead.
with Adam. Kayla cutting my hair, braided into some decoration.
She owes you a thing or two, so yeah.
Yeah,
you might wake up with corn dogs braiding in your hair or something.
Yeah.
Either I'm dying and becoming part of your furniture, or I'm waking up with like corn dogs in my hair. There's really only two.
You won't be a part of the furniture. The wall decor, yes, but not the furniture.
Just as Harrison F. Dolls.
No, not even that.
No, give me a plaque at least.
It'll just be a curl.
Oh yeah, just put Colonel Reb, I guess.
So no, it'll be. Hold on, let me do this so I can share it because I had to look this up because it is a real thing for those that do not know.
Oh no!
That it's extremely. That's what we need is a picture.
A picture of me
just up in the middle, and then your luscious locks. I mean, I guess that is one good thing about Forrest is that there won't be any.
Yeah, like they won't kill him because there would be nothing to collect. But
I mean, I guess we'll have to cut his beard and eyebrows off. So.
Well, actually, if we come up in December, that's the longest his beard usually is. So you guys might actually have something to work with. Me and Dad grow out our facial hair for hunting season, and so he's already started.
Past Commander-in-Chief Jason is right. This is dangerous territory. We do need to move on because if anybody knows about Kayla's wrath, it's Jason, and she hates him.
I don't know. She'd have lit me up with a Nerf gun.
No, Adam.
By her, I mean Adam. But
Adam lit you up with a Nerf gun.
I have a sneaky suspicion that, like, before they walked into that room that night, Kayla,
you better shoot him.
You better light him up, or you're sleeping in the living room. So, like, I had a feeling because Adam went after me with wrath. I saw the vengeance in his eyes.
That just happens when you put a Nerf gun in somebody's hand. I mean, I saw it come out in Linda Gramlin, too. She went after you, too. So
I don't know what I did to Adam, but he shot the whole clip at me.
And then your dad did. I mean, you just put a Nerf gun in somebody's hand. It happens.
No, Dad did it because he has to pay for everything of mine.
Even then, it wasn't. Even then, it wasn't a magazine; it was a revolver. So
it was a revolver, but he lit like I'm seeing, and I'm getting pelted by him in all the wrong areas. Adam was aiming low, trying to make sure there's no future generation of Dawleses.
If it makes you feel any better, he shot me as well.
He did shoot you, and I think that's because you keep making jokes about him when he's on the air.
No, it's because we share inappropriate TikToks with each other late at night.
Yeah, that could be it. Adam doesn't send me stuff.
You don't ever look at it, so why waste my time?
Oh, that's fair. Well, the way Moose's tongue was, when was my tongue hanging out?
Of your death.
Oh, when I was dead, yes. I don't know if I'm going into that on this show.
When you ask, when?
Apparently I have a long tongue, and so I thought it'd be funny. Instead, I get pictures of it zoomed in all the time, and I cannot thank y'all enough for that pain. No, 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 no.
Go join our Patreon. You can see that picture.
I get enough of those. I'll do a lot for the cause. I will tank my personal life, be stressed out all the time, humiliate myself. But if I'm going to at least humiliate myself for the cause, can we not remind me of it every other week?
Speaking of, in Houston this year, the second annual Moose Hunt will be back, sponsored by SCV Chat. We already have the new Nerf gun for this year. It's a sniper rifle.
If I don't drive, if I have to fly, I'm not going to bring it. But if I have to drive, I'm going to bring my Nerf gun. I think we have
Adam.
fully automatic one.
No. You have to.
What are we raising money for this year again?
Again, the museum, until the museum is paid off, and then once the museum is paid off, then for the Forest Last Ride.
Okay, that's what I thought. This is only happening 2 more times.
And then after we get Forest back up,
no, there is no after Forest. Forest
after we get Forest back up, it'll be for a restoration project at the house. And then after we get that restoration project done at the house, it'll be for another restoration project at the house.
No.
What we are going to do is not next year, but the year after, I'm going to get a bear costume and give Moose a break. Or an alligator costume. I don't know yet.
No. Oh, wait. No, we're forgetting something for this year. You want to know who volunteered? Jason volunteered to wear a T-Rex costume in Texas. He said it on his last episode as Commander-in-Chief. So it is binding that you, Jason, have to wear a T-Rex costume with me this year. I'll get a new moose onesie so I don't look like I ate a moose before going out there. And we will both get shot for the cause.
And I think Commander Bosher said it in here. We will always be fundraising. So this is never ending. There will be a moose hunt for every reunion from now on.
No.
Yeah.
No, we might
you'll be 80 years old and I'll be 100 shooting you.
I will start donating money. I will donate $200 every year.
Oh no, that's our starting goal is 200. Now our goal is 250.
Y'all don't want this. Not a lot of people came out.
Oh, that's because we didn't remind everybody. We have a year to remind folks.
No.
But anyway, so Adam, what spooky things are going on at headquarters?
Oh man, it's just that time of year. Everything spooky's going on. I see him in the chat, so I'm gonna pick on him. But the spookiest thing I see every day is Eric Pavetti.
Well, that goes without saying.
No, I'm joking. No, we have
some of the things he wears gives me ears.
Oh, we can talk about their uniforms and their costumes later on, but one of these days I want to know who's the best dressed between Paul Gremlin and Eric Pavetti. I think we need to have a fashion show.
Okay, time out.
All right, well,
can we have that also as a fundraiser, a full-on fashion show between Eric and Paul? It can be the pre-show for the Moose Hunt. That's all I'm asking. I'm understanding that I'm stuck with the Moose Hunt for another 2 years, but I'm going to at least make it entertaining for myself.
We'll see what happens. I mean, anything can happen. But,
yes, that needs to happen.
Yep. But glad to announce that Eric and his crew have finally gotten us back to where we need to be. We are caught up on dues, so shouldn't need he'll need an extra suitcase for all of his clothes, but we are caught up with renewals. So if you haven't paid dues, and there are some camps that still haven't paid dues, get those in, and we need to get your members back current. But other than that, we are rocking and rolling at HQ.
How'd the car show turn out?
It wasn't that widely attended. They had about 20, maybe 30 cars, but, this was their first time having a car show. And I say this was a Camp 29 project. They had it on the same weekend as the GEC meeting in October 12th. Had some food trucks there, so you didn't have to leave the site to come and get you something to eat and see some cars. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to next year's, and they're actually looking at changing the date for next year, maybe doing it a little bit earlier in the year instead of October. But we still plan to have our cruise in every July. So the Rebel Rouser cruise in will be sometime in July of 25. So look forward to that. Mark your calendars. And the difference between a cruise in and a car show is cruise in, there's no prizes. You're just doing it for fun. Car show, there's prizes. You get a trophy, some bragging rights, and there's usually an entry fee.
That's good.
Awesome.
Any chili cook-offs coming in anytime soon?
Not anytime soon. We're trying to, keep the carbon dioxide meter down in Columbia right now. So,
well, plant an extra tree.
So he has agreed to wear the T-Rex costume, but he needs a tiara.
Well, Adam can work on that.
I'll buy you one.
So there was a is it a movie, a miniseries? What y'all just get done?
It was a movie. It's a movie. It was it's the working title is The Legend of Van Dorn, and there's the actor that played General Van Dorn. And if you're familiar with Elm Springs, that's a study, Colonel Looney's study, and what used to be my office before we moved to the museum. But,
looks that's nothing like him.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, you see him in costume and in character. It was a little convincing. So we'll see how the movie turns out. They had a pretty lady that played Jesse Peters, and a lot prettier than the drawings that I've seen of Jesse Peters in real life. But
I actually had some friends of mine that got to take a part of the shoot. Tim Craddock and his boys with the 1st Mississippi Cavalry got to participate, and I'm actually looking at one of Tim's pictures. I'm trying to save it really quickly so I can upload it. Tim was telling me about it at Fall Muster and was saying how some of the actors they couldn't hack it, so to speak.
Yeah, I think one of the cavalrymen didn't know how to ride a horse. I don't know if it was the one that played Van Dorn or another actor. They just did not know how to ride a horse, so they had to have body doubles for him. But, yeah, there's some of their battle scenes. They shot those down the road from where I'm at right now in Culleoka, Tennessee.
Beautiful work.
No, it is. I mean, it's really this was not a low budget thing. It was it wasn't a major motion picture with like a multi-million-dollar budget, but they were at least $1 million budget.
Yeah. Larry Dixon, who is in both of these shots, that's Larry holding the flag there. Larry was actually or is actually a member of one of our camps in Upper Mississippi. Both of them really, really good guys. So they were very happy to go up there and film. I'm glad they chose Elm Springs as a backdrop.
Yeah. They didn't do anything externally at Elm Springs, so unless you know it's Elm Springs, the rooms that they're in, you won't know it's Elm Springs. But those of us in the SCV that have been to Elm Springs will be able to pick it out pretty easily, which rooms they're in. So.
I can't wait to watch it, honestly.
Did well, I see Jason was talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff. I wish they could have put him in there. Yeah, that'd have been, interesting to see.
They had a couple of scenes where they needed extras just to sit around and play cards and smoke and drink. And I thought, oh, why didn't y'all call me for this? I mean, that's the role I've been preparing for my whole life.
I would have drove up there for that.
born to play card player number 6.
Card player number 6.
I don't know if that's art imitating life or life imitating art, but whatever it is, I'm all there for it.
What's that saying about there are no small roles, just small actors or something like that?
Yep.
Well, in our case, there's neither.
Nope. But I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Is it Murray Schuff or Murray Shue from Mississippi?
Yeah, Murray. That's all I've known is Murray.
Yeah, but most people call him Sarge. I call him Santa because he usually plays Santa at Elm Springs. He was over the weapons for the movie. And helped with the costuming as well. So yeah. I got to see Murray quite a bit.
Murray also has a couple of items. Won't say which items, but he has a couple of items on loan there at Elm Spring, or at the National Confederate Museum at Elm Springs at the Southern Heritage or Southern Culture Center.
Yeah, Southern Heritage Center.
Getting ready to bring us some more too. I'm really looking forward to some of his items that he's talking about bringing. He's a major collector.
Any haunted items?
I don't know that we have any haunted items, but you never can tell. We'll find out when they get there.
Yeah. Speaking of haunted, for those that don't know, we've kind of alluded to it with Adam's affinity for dead hair, and you can kind of tell from the creepy haunted mansion candelabra. I think it's a bat.
Looks like a cat.
It's a gargoyle.
No.
I mean, I can see a bat too, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a cat with glasses on.
Anyway, Adam is a Halloween adult. He loves Halloween. One of the things that I enjoy doing is going, because Halloween starts in, we have back to school, then we have Halloween for 3 months, then we have Christmas for 2 months. Just the way that society has progressed. And, right after all the back to school stuff, whenever they're putting out the Halloween decorations and display at Lowe's and stuff like that, I'll send him the $500 picture of the $500 decorations. I can't afford that. I can't have that right now. And I said, well, you can get it when it goes on sale. But Adam loves
looking for those sales right now.
Yeah. Adam loves the spooky time of the year. Only thing I really care about is when candy goes on sale. After Halloween.
I'll be on Adam's side for this. Now, I'm not about the dead hair, but everything else, I love it as well. I mean, this is the start of my favorite time of year for me. So
it's just another month. It's the culmination to my busiest time of the year. So, whenever I make it to Halloween, I know I've made it through, all the work stuff. But Adam actually, for those that don't know, Adam is a noted author and historian, and storyteller. And Adam actually wrote a book called Mad Murray: Ghost, Murder, Mayhem in Murray County, Tennessee. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. Is Adam tell some creepy stories.
Adam does have 2 things to go over first.
Oh, he does. Let me guess. Something about magazines or something like that.
An event and then some books.
Yeah,
okay, so
let's go ahead and talk about those. Let's go ahead and put them up.
Which you want to? Okay,
right, there you go. That'll work. These are the holdings. I always like to give people a reading list. These are some items that we have in our research library about War Between the States ghosts. So this is just a small selection of what's been published, but this is what we have in our holdings. And these are all pretty good books. They have some good stories in them. I was looking through some of these earlier today, thinking about what we could talk about. But Didn't really see some the good stories. I'm looking more around the Army of Tennessee area. Those are the ghosts I'm familiar with. But there is one story from Gettysburg that I've always liked. They say they can hear a dog bay at night. Was it Breckenridge that got killed? And his wife took a train to go up to see his grave, and she took his hound dog with him. And the dog just laid there at the grave and cried and wouldn't leave and stayed there until he was dead. And now the people of Gettysburg say they can still hear that dog howling at night. So that's one of my favorite stories about Gettysburg.
I don't think it was Breckenridge.
Well, it was one of the generals that was killed up there, but they took his old hound dog up there, and he wouldn't leave the grave and stayed there until he died. Wouldn't take food from the people. They would try to feed it, and just laid there and died of a broken heart. It was a good dog. Must have been a good man, too.
Didn't have a broken tail.
Didn't have a broken tail, bless his heart. What's our next slide there?
I'm not doing any of this, Caleb. Please don't hurt me.
All right. We have a program coming up, and I've been kind of playing with the idea of having a speaking schedule up at the museum. And our inaugural speaker will be a man named John S. Perry. He's an author from Nashville. He's written several books. He's written about Alvin C. York, but he's written 3 books about a topic that we would like to hear at the National Confederate Museum. One is about Mrs. Robert E. Lee, called The Lady of Arlington. And there's another book called Lee, Goodness in Action, and it's a part of the General series. So he will be discussing the Lees on November 16th at 2 p.m. So this is a free program. The museum will be open for the program. So make plans to attend this event at 2 p.m. on November 16th.
I will just miss it.
Yep. I hope I don't miss it. I will be in Missouri that weekend. It was Barksdale. Okay, good deal.
Missouri or Missouri? You said Breckenridge, not Barksdale.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
I will. The boys up there call it Missouri, so I better call it Missouri while I'm up there.
Well, there's a difference. Southern Missouri is Missouri, and then as you get closer to Chicago, it becomes Missouri. Then when you get to Chicago, you're in misery. Yankees.
It was your laugh that so just a.
So
I'll be back in Liberty, Missouri sometime, so I hope I make it back in time for this event on the 16th. We've been going up and taking part in a monuments case up there, and we have to go back to court on the 15th. So that's a good 10-hour drive from Columbia.
You gonna stay in that haunted hotel again?
I think I am. There's an Oddfellows Lodge there in Liberty, Missouri. Well, not an Oddfellows Lodge. It was an Oddfellows home. So it was a place where the old members of the lodge could stay. And later they turned it into an orphanage. And pretty haunted location, according to some of the ghost experts. They've had TV shows like Ghost Adventures and other Travel Channel shows come and spend the night in this hotel, and I stayed the night there too, not knowing it was haunted when I booked the room. Luckily, I made it through the night, and I didn't have but one experience. And
what was your one experience?
Whenever I checked in, went upstairs, and I started hearing this tapping in the bathroom, and I was like, "What? Why is that vent rattling?" And it was just tap, 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 tap. The air conditioner wasn't on, but I could just hear this tapping. So finally, I just said, "All right, y'all need to cut that out. We ain't doing this," and it stopped. So
that wasn't a ghost. That was Scott Hall.
It could have been. But there was a diary in my room there, and I thought I'm not going to read it until I'm ready to check out because I don't want to freak myself out. I could just see myself reading this and getting terrified, and just staying up all night, just thinking about the ghosts that were coming to get me. But I read the diary when I checked out, and one of the experiences was there's a little boy that is in the attic, and he taps in the vent of the bathroom at night. And I thought, well, that happened to me, so I guess I can chalk that up to a ghostly experience, or maybe it's a faulty air vent. Who knows? But
lucky you didn't piss him off.
Yeah, no kidding.
That could have ended the night very differently.
I'd have been sleeping in the car. But yeah, Mad Murray, I think that came out in 2012. It's been a while since that book's been out, and boy, I've reached the top of the bestsellers list in Murray County. Joke. But long before I came to Elm Springs, I actually. Oh man, don't do
that. We really need to get set up key sounds.
Oh man. Long before I came to Elm Springs, I wrote about it as part of this book. There's a story there at Elm Springs that just terrifies me. And it's about the Loonies, who were the second generation to live there in the house, and they had a child that passed away. Of course, they had the customary wake there in the home. They sat there and sat up with the dead, basically, and waited to see if they would wake up, because they didn't want people to be buried alive, and that happened a lot back then. And that's actually where we get the term dead ringer at now, because you would bury people with a string attached to their hand, so if they woke up in the grave, they could ring the bell. They were dead ringers. So it was a very common occurrence back then. But they had the wake for this child. It didn't wake up, so they buried it in the small family cemetery there at Elm Springs. And as the family's preparing for bed that night, the lady of the house, Mrs. Looney, starts crying, and she's telling her husband, "I can hear our baby cry." And he thinks she's just, out of her head with grief. Doesn't really know what to do. So finally he tells her, "All right, I'll go out to the grave and dig it up. We'll see." So he goes out there and he digs up the grave, and boy, he was shocked at what he found, because the baby had been alive. It had flipped over in the casket and was now laying on its stomach, but it had ripped the lining out of the casket and everything else. But he was too late. The baby had suffocated in the grave. So he quietly reburied his child and goes back to the house and tells his wife, what had happened. I don't know that I would have told her. I would have probably just said, no, it was past. But he told her, what had happened. And that's one of the stories at Elm Springs today, is that you can go out to the family cemetery at night and sometimes hear a baby crying. If you look over to the house, you can see a woman looking out at the window from the second story. She's looking at the grave. And boys, I can tell you really can feel a presence up there in those upstairs bedrooms. That's one of the creepiest areas of the house I don't like going to. And Kayla can attest to that. We have bus tours come late at night. I'll say, "Oh, Kayla, I forgot to cut the lights out upstairs. Would you mind going and doing that for me?" She'll go up there. She'll go up there so the ghosts don't get me. But
even the ghosts are scared of Kayla.
Nobody messes with Kayla.
No. Oh, they know better.
There have been other experiences in the house. So, I think back to the forestry interment when we had.
All I could see is Adam basically being like, "I'll offer my wife as tribute," throwing Kayla in the house and running.
Easy. He may not be employed if we keep on with that.
Because he'll be dead.
What happens? I'm just like, "Hey, I have to go over to the museum. Do you mind, cutting these lights out while I'm over here?" I shouldn't be saying this. Now she knows what my ploy is, but.
Well, she knows that the facts of the matter is that the ghosts are too scared
facts
to hurt
of the matter
her.
are.
Well, piss on that vocabulary.
It's grammar, not even vocabulary.
Tomato. The facts of the matter are that the ghosts aren't going to mess with her. Adam knows this, so he knows nothing's going to happen to her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I was going to say, but I think back to the forestry interment too. We had the guards standing on the front porch and the back porch all during the night while General and Mrs. Forrest were in state inside of Elm Springs. Mm-hmm. those that were parking that Friday night before the funeral, they called Jason because he had a walkie on him 24 hours. And they said, "Whose little girl's out here?" And they said, "Nobody's little girl's out there." Why? And the person on the back porch could see a little girl kind of walking the rock fence by the cemetery. And he said he watched her for a little bit, and she would dance back and forth, and then it just disappeared. So there's still occurrences of spirits being seen there at Elm Springs. And those that used to work upstairs, David Cost especially, that works in our recruiting, he'll tell you that a little girl used to mess with them all the time upstairs.
Yeah, Miss Cindy has some stories, and Miss Linda Gramling has some stories that she's told in the past about like seeing the imprint of a body sitting on one of the beds, and then it buggering off.
So, I was on an air mattress in my office during the forestry interment that night, so the ghost did not bother me in the museum.
Funny thing enough, I was supposed to be on that night watch, so I could have seen that too.
Yeah, creepy. So what about the Athenaeum? So we've heard some of the ghost stories from Elm Springs, but that's another old building, there in Columbia. Oh, I get
Columbus.
it right. Yeah, Columbus.
Give
Columbia.
me all this crap, and you're over here calling it Columbia.
The Athenaeum is all that's left of a girls' school that operated in Columbia. It was the headmaster's house, and it was built in 1835. And the same family lived there from 1835 up until the 1970s. So we have about 90% of the family furnishings there in that house. And as you can imagine, if somebody's attached to a house or a piece of furniture, hey, the ghosts are probably going to be in that location because it has so much history with that one family. But there have been strange things that have happened there. One that really comes to my mind is that was probably the first time I think I'd ever experienced a ghost. I looked up, we were taking pictures for a grant, and I thought Kayla was in the house with me. And I'm going around taking pictures for this grant, taking pictures, and all of a sudden I look up in the mirror, and there's a pretty little brown-haired girl standing behind me. And I'm like, "Well, hey, Kayla, what are we doing?" And I turn around, and she's not there. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I look out the window. Kayla's outside. So, I left out of the house pretty quick after that. And there was a kind of a common occurrence that's happened multiple times there at the house. There's a girl that's seen on that side of the house. I say girl, we're talking probably a 20-something-year-old female, brown hair. And we think that she's either a student of the school or one of the members of the Smith family that passed away in that house. People have seen her multiple times there. And that was my lucky day, I guess.
Yeah, I was reading something and getting ready for the show. It was a one of the some Murray County website, but they said that they had a paranormal investigator crew that came there and asked the spirits to turn a flashlight on and off, and they began switching, and there was nobody near it. So, yeah,
that happens a lot. Eric's on here, and he. One night we were doing a candlelight tour. That's one of our fundraisers we do at the Athenaeum in the fall. We dress the home up in Victorian mourning. We cover all the mirrors. We cover all the portraits, light the home with nothing but candles, and we give people a tour of the house, tell about the mourning customs and about the ghost stories from the house. And Eric was upstairs in what was the boys' room. They had the room upstairs. And as he's standing there telling a story, one of the armoires up there just busted open. Books went everywhere. And next thing we know is doom, 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 doom. Eric's coming down the stairs like, "Hey, did y'all hear that?" And we're like, "Yeah, we all heard it. What was it?" He said, "Them ghosts tried to get me."
Sounds like something out of Scooby-Doo.
Sierra run.
That was a wild night at the Athenaeum. You know, it was probably 2020 or so. I don't know. It was just a few years ago, but we had probably 200 people waiting to come on this tour, and the people in line kept saying, "Do y'all have somebody dressed up like a mammy?" And I was like, "No, we definitely do not have somebody dressed up like a mammy. Why?" They're like, "Well, we've been seeing this woman on the balcony kind of walking back and forth, and she's dressed like a mammy." We're like, "Well, I don't know what you're seeing, but it's not any of our guides. I mean, we don't have any people, portraying slaves tonight. That's just not, we don't do that." So that was a wild night, and we had 3 people leave sick. Yeah, that's right. The balcony floor was ripped up at the time. So if they were to see somebody, they had to be floating because they weren't walking on the floor. There was no floor.
Well, what about Rose Hill Cemetery? That's another spot up there in Murray County that you got some connection to.
Yeah, Rose Hill's got a lot of great stories up there, and one of my favorite stories, of course, Lizzie Porter, and y'all see Kayla portray her every now and again. She's a lady that lived to be 105 years old, and she was known to shoot at people. Boom. And Kayla fits in with this role very well, and take her a little 22 gun up there with blanks, and she'll shoot at people all night. So we had our tour this past weekend at Rose Hill, and Kayla did not portray Lizzie Porter this year, and people were upset that she wasn't in it. So I guess she's going to have to come back next year. So y'all make plans to see that. But one of my favorite stories at Rose Hill, and this probably be my last. You need to come, Moose.
No, there'll be real bullets in that. God, Kayla will light me up, man.
One of my favorite stories at Rose Hill, this will be the last one I tell you tonight, is about a lady named Betsy Baird Burns, and she was a young girl. She went and had her fortune read, and the fortune teller told her, said, "Betsy, you're going to meet the man of your dreams. He's going to be tall, dark, and handsome, and you're going to meet him at Woolworth's drugstore in Columbia." And Betsy was just a young and naive girl, and didn't realize that Woolworth's drugstore was the first place this fortune teller saw when she came into town, and was just making up this entire story. Mm-hmm. So Betsy asked her, said, "What do I need to do?" And Betsy said, "Well, just go home and get your best dress ready, and tomorrow dress up and go down there. He's going to come in, sweep you off your feet. You'll live happily ever after." So that next morning she came in, and she's wearing her dress, and she sits down and waits on this man. And she waited, and she waited all day long, and not anybody made eyes at her. So she left a little bit disappointed. But on the way home, she thought, hey, it might be tomorrow. So she came back that next day, and then the next. Make a long story short, every day of her life except for Sunday, when she was in church, she could be seen sitting in Woolworth's drugstore waiting on that man that was never coming for her. And it's kind of a sad story. She wasted her life away. Sounds a lot like the song Delta Dawn, too. That must be a common occurrence across the South. She was Columbia's Delta Dawn, and she had outlived all of her friends. Everybody kind of thought she was crazy. She outlived all of her relatives. So when she died, there was nobody left to put the death date on her tombstone. So it just read 19, and then there was a blank. So it was kind of a sad story. But many people still believe she's still around that old drugstore. They drive by late at night. Many people report seeing a woman behind that front glass there at Woolworth's drugstore. And they've had common occurrences in that building. It's now a store called Southern Exposure. And over the years, it's been different things like a boutique. And they've all had little interesting occurrences happen. A woman will be talking, especially to male customers. So I think Rosie's still in there. Betsy's still in there. She's still waiting on her man. And if you're tall, dark, and handsome, she even talks to you. And this is the grave out at Rose Hill.
Okay, so I'm safe.
Yeah, you're safe.
I was going to say you are tall. I was going to say Jason is really safe.
Jason doesn't meet the height requirement. Yeah. I meet the height requirement. I do have dark hair, but handsome, no. I think we're gonna fall short on that category.
Well. There's one thing that you and Rosie have in common. You got to be something that somebody wants, and clearly she wasn't, and you aren't.
Well, God love her.
Adam's got to deal with these ghosts. You just taking them up to get his new house haunted for all of
Well,
eternity.
I do have a question, Adam. Did somebody ever finish the inscription on her tombstone?
Yeah, I've been telling that story for 15, 16 years now on our ghost tour. And last year on my birthday, Kayla went and had somebody finally put the death date on her tombstone. That was my birthday present. I think that was a darn good one, too.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Well, he has dead hair, so I mean, this is the less creepy I've ever
Well,
heard it.
let me ask you: is it since then? Is she still haunting the? Have there been anybody saying that she's still haunting?
Oh, she's still there. Yeah, she's still there. But at least people know when
Okay.
she died.
I was going to say, because if that may have been the thing that she was waiting on somebody to do is finish inscribing the tombstone.
No, she ain't going nowhere until she finds herself a man. So I count her as tribute.
No, I'm good. Forrest, you're up.
He fits all the requirements. Got a voice like Conway Twitty.
Yep.
Or Carl.
Or Carl. Yeah, Carl. You go do that.
Oh.
We're about a month and a few days away from our Murray Christmas Historic Home Tour, too, in Murray County. First weekend in December, 6th and 7th. That'll be a good time to visit Columbia. You get to see the museum, and Elm Springs is part of that tour. The Athenaeum, which we talked about earlier, is part of the tour, and several other historic sites around the county. So that would be a good weekend to come to Columbia. If you've been putting off the trip, make plans to come see us that weekend.
And if you can't, of course, the weekend before that, it'll be the 160th Franklin. I'm about 75% sure I'm going to be heading up that way for it. About 75% sure. I've always wanted to do the Memorial March. In this case, it'll be more of a memorial waddle. Because I'm going to do it in modern attire. I don't think I'm going to do it in the boots.
I might do it in a uniform, but I'll be wearing modern shoes.
I can't. If I'm going to do it in uniform, I won't have to break out the boots, and 2 miles in boots. That'll be fun.
The big thing is coordinating transportation back, because it's a 2 mile walk downhill. But once you get back down there, you got to get yourself back up the hill. So you have to.
Yeah.
Last time Kayla and I hitchhiked, and we found a little old couple that took us back, and Kayla, of course, was scared to get in the car with them. And I'm like, "Hey, I have a saber. If they try so, I'll just stab them." But
Pokey. Sounds like one of our compatriots from Texas. Anyway, Adam, we appreciate you for bringing us on, or for being on this evening for a very interesting Hearth and Home, and welcome back to SCV Chat as we know it. Looking forward to seeing you at the end of the month, and at the end of the month, guys. Our headquarters is doing a lot of great things. If you're interested in Adam's creepy book, you can get a copy of it on Amazon.com, or you can get a copy at headquarters, or several other places where you can get books. But I'm just going to go ahead and say buy from headquarters, because then you're not only helping Adam, pay for renovations at his house, but you're also helping our headquarters. So it's it'll be very, very beneficial and helpful. So again, December it'll be open. November the 16th, headquarters will be open with that Lee, the gentleman coming to talk about the Lees. So come up there and visit your headquarters. It's our headquarters. It's our museum. It's something that we should be proud of. No other organization I'm a part of has their own museum. So definitely do that. Remember that you can still make donations via the SCV website, scv.org. Click on donate. You can donate to the museum, or you can donate to the Disaster Relief Fund. We have a bunch of compatriots, as you've seen on Look Around the Confederation, that have been affected by the storms of the last month. We're continuing to keep them, our compatriots in Florida, in the Carolinas, and in parts of Tennessee, in our prayers. But, you know, definitely, if you've given, thank you, and ask that you continue to give. Other than that, what are you doing tomorrow night, Moose?
Well, let's see here. I'm gonna watch Look Around Florida.
Well, that's a good thing. Remember to tune in to Look Around Florida with Sean McFall, the Florida Man, tomorrow evening. Get some more good SCV programming, and then Thursday we have Look Around the Confederation with Moose, where he will. No, you're shaking your head.
No,
Commander's comments.
No, it's Halloween.
Oh,
I will be out of town.
oh, well, hey, don't
Connor
tune
can
in
do it.
Thursday. No. I've got a no. Seriously, Thursday I've got a work event Thursday evening. I've got to
Oh yeah, I'm just messing.
participate in. Not really work, but work, if that makes sense. And then in 7 days, roughly 7 days, about 6 hours, it's election day. So again, go do your civic duty and vote.
Please.
I will say this, more than likely on our other channel, our other Facebook page. I don't know if Moose will be on there, but very strong likelihood on our Stars and Bars Studios page. I will probably be going live next Tuesday evening and watching election results.
I'll be joining in late, but I'll be on.
Yeah, so that's we're not going to get into the political stuff, but you know, in the post that I put out on our Patreon, which we do encourage everybody to go and sign up for our Patreon, help supports our channel. The one thing that I wrote about for today and reminding everybody to go vote. Remember that after the war between the states, when the tyrannical, radical Republican federal government was continuing to put their boots on the throat of our ancestors and subjugating the South, that many of our ancestors lost their right to vote, be it with the various amendments that were passed, or the constitutions that state governments were forced to pass, or various other acts that the Congress passed. So, you know, when you go and vote, think about your ancestors at the ballot box, and that is as much as I'm going to say on that. But think about them when you go vote. So yeah. Other than that, next Monday though, we will be back for the SCV chat with our historian, our chat head historian, Michael C. Hardy, who will talk about, we don't know what yet, but Michael, I'm sure, will have a great topic for us to discuss. So we'll put out some information on that. Until then, in the words of the late and great Harold Philpotts, no Fumar in the elevator and stay spooky.
Happy Halloween, chat heads.